Why paragliding? Well, paragliding is amazing. It's affordable. It is extremely accessible. And it is a recognized discipline of aviation. So paragliding is aviation. It's amazing. I'm blown away that an aircraft that's made up of fabric lines and a harness, something that packs up into a backpack that you can carry with you, is capable of flying for hours on end over hundreds of kilometers, and pretty much powered by naturally occurring rising air and your brains. Paragliding is a very much a mental game. I like to call it playing a strategy game in the sky. Flying the wing is kind of like riding a bicycle. You learn how to ride your bicycle, and you can learn how to fly a paraglider. That's what I call the easy part, and that's the point of the basic license, to teach you how to fly this aircraft. We also teach you a little bit more, but really, you're going to be. It's a journey that you'll be going on, where you are constantly learning. You're learning about the air, something you can't see. So there's tons of learning there. You learn how to fly like a bird. I mean, we don't have engines, so we rely on naturally occurring rising air, be it thermals, which is bubbles of air that leaves the ground and rises up. A simple explanation of this is when you see birds flying in circles, they're in a bubble of air that's rising, and by flying in circles, they're staying within the bubble and going up with it. So that's one major source of lift. The second source of lift is ridge lift, where you have wind blowing against a mountain, flowing over the mountain, and then you can soar it. And this is what most people understand paragliding to be. But actually, in my flying world, it accounts for, I would say, about 20% of the lift, and thermals, the bubbles of rising air, is more 80% of that of the lift. So paragliding is this amazing activity. It really changes your life. It changes your holidays. It changes your touring. You know, to take this aircraft in a backpack and go overseas, or go to a different part of South Africa and go and fly over there. It's amazing. You see this place from a completely different perspective. So it's just incredible. A lot of people have reservations about paragliding, thinking it's this dangerous activity, that the aircraft can, because what if the lines break or the wing tears? Pretty much we don't have these kind of accidents. Our gear is maintained, it is serviced. A single line, like a 2mm line, will have a braking strain of between 200 to 400 kg. So these lines can definitely support your weight. The material, your wing doesn't just tear. It's designed to fly, and so we've gotten past the early days of pioneering. The sport has really gone into a new higher level of experience, of design, of technology, of learning, and therefore it's a lot more safer than the pioneering days of the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. The past 10-15 years of paragliding has really accelerated. There's been a growth of paragliders around the world, and so yeah, go for it. Just go for it. If you ever thought flying would be fun, it is. Is it a risky activity? Yeah, life is risky. Riding a motorcycle is risky. Crossing the road is risky. Flying a paraglider is risky. You can mitigate for these risks by making good decisions, by flying in conditions that are suitable to your skill level, by flying an aircraft, a paraglider that is suitable to your skill level. Just on that note, paragliders have we have a range of classes. They're tested according to EN standards, European norm standards. Just as you have SABS, you have EN standards, and so our aircraft are tested according to this. And basically, when you start off with, you should be flying a beginner glider. That's not to say that a beginner glider can't take you places. Today's beginner glider is more than capable of flying a 100-kilometer or more flight. But then, of course, just like in everything, you can move up with performance. Just as you learn how to drive on a simple car, when you get your driver's license, you can move all the way up to Formula One. And in paragliding, it's the same. We have gliders which are at the very top end, extremely fast, extremely high performance, but that does demand a higher level of pilot skill to fly these gliders. As a beginner, you do not go and fly the Formula One of paragliding gliders. You fly a beginner glider, and a beginner glider is definitely good enough. What you learn on in your school training is good enough for, I would say, at least your first year of flying. And so you should, when you purchase your first glider, you should be purchasing a beginner glider, because, well, today's beginner glider, like I said, they've got the performance. They're not something that's just going to get you down to the ground. They can take you over 100 kilometers, several hours of flying. That's the benefit of learning to fly today, is that our beginner student gliders have got the performance that you need. So whether you sign up for our intro course, the first solo flight course, or the basic license course, I hope you go for it. Don't delay. People like to say, I'll do it one day. Just start today. Start with the basic license course, or start with the first flight solo course. Come and dip your feet into the water, get a taste for it, have that first solo flight, learn about the gear, learn about the equipment. The first solo flight that first solo flight course teaches you all of this. Have that first solo flight under the guidance of 2 instructors, and then decide, is this for you? Majority of people say yes. However, if you decide no, it's not for you, you'd rather do something else with your time, that's cool. At least you've given it a proper go, and now you can make that decision. So whatever it is, whichever decision it is you make, we really look forward to having you on our training courses. We take training very seriously. Safety is our number one priority. And having fun is second, but it's a big second, and I'm real sure you'll have lots of fun. So we look forward to having you. Until then, stay safe.